It's Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald. Welcome to Nebraska.
Thank you.
You you have been working with players that you probably have had to put a lot of development into because they're not necessarily 4 and 5 star guys. Would you feel like that experience at your previous stops might be able to help you in this spot in developing some of these interior guys?
Yes, sir. I think that it does. But overall, when you look at the position of playing defensive tackle, it's one that is a fundamental technical position. So the continued repetition of some things that you do schematically in your defense is very, very valuable. But yes, having been in this defense, under Coach George before, it helps having that familiarity to carry things forward. But definitely just the thought process of developing guys and understanding that it takes more than just one or two. You want to bring some other guys along. I think that's definitely helping me here in the short term.
I can't remember if you hired maybe after the portal additions were made. There were two made in Owen and in Jasir. What have you seen from those two guys? They're a little bit shorter than some of your other tackles. What have you seen from them so far, and what do you hope they can provide?
Well, the first part of your question, I was kind of on the tad end of that portal window, so got a chance to meet Jasir while he was here on his visit, and then some things family-wise happened, and I got a chance to do some things over Zoom calls with Owen. But you always watch film prior to see what those guys' strengths and weaknesses are. But looking at those guys, they bring an explosive element to the table. They also bring a leverage element to the table, and not saying that because of their height, but because sometimes a guy may be 6'1", but play like he's 6'5". But those guys in that 6'1" to 6'2" range, but play with great leverage and good knee bend. So those aspects of explosiveness, the power, and then strong hands as well that they bring to the table, and then the mentality, because it's something where you just can't shy away from contact in that position. But that's definitely something they've been doing on film in a short period of time.
Coach Sean Callahan, South Carolina. First of all, how much have you heard from your Iowa people about working at Nebraska? Are you giving you a hard time yet?
I kind of always joke enough that I'm old enough where I kind of don't read comments a lot online. Between me working and then from there, my son, my family takes up a lot of time. But so haven't heard much to answer your question. But I always feel like I'm on the right side of the rivalry right now. Yes, sir.
Well, the room too. You've got a lot of younger guys too. I mean, how do Tyson Terry and Malcolm Simpson, guys like that, factor in this spring as you build the room up here?
It's a big factor. Speaking of just a question earlier, the depth is key. And when you have young talent, it's about pointing to those guys, about those consistent techniques. Knew of Tyson and met Tyson a while back when I was at South Dakota. He was coming out of Omaha North and got a chance to see him there, but got too big for us at that particular level. But just to see him, what he went through, and now like actually playing ball, because it's been a little bit of time from him. And then you look at a guy like Malcolm and have not met him in the process, but I'm from Houston, Texas. He actually played at Galveston Ball High School, which is a well-respected high school down there, and then transferred his senior year. But I know he has the talent to be here, and he's coming off injuries as well. So it's important to bring those guys along and other young guys in the room as well to make sure that those guys have the opportunities to showcase their skill set and what they've been working towards. Because you don't want to have a drop-off. It's a long season. It's a big conference, and interior guys got to hold down the fort.
Coach Brian Christopherson with Husker 24/7. Even though it's been a few years since you worked with Coach Orange, does it feel like just kind of pick up where you left off, or how's that work?
You guys probably have met him with his personality. It's definitely no drop-off. It's always something where he's open, candid. But with that being said, I think he's actually continued to grow, as a coach. The scheme has grown as well, and that's something that's been great to see. When you take that into account that the defensive line play we had at South Dakota was more, I wouldn't say vanilla, but it didn't have the opportunity to make a bunch of TFLs and negative plays. So the things that he's been doing up front, it's fun to play in this defense as a defensive lineman. Now, it's not anything we're going to ole blocks or anything like that. We're going to take on blocks, learn how to defeat them, learn how to fit. But there's some different nuances to it that allows guys with a certain skill set to have success.
What's your early impression of more of a veteran guy like Riley Van Poppel and sort of your challenge to him as you go into this spring?
To make sure he has deliberate focus to get better daily. And it's something that he can pick out certain things in his game. And we talked about strengths and weaknesses in our one-on-one meeting. Obviously, if he probably was in here, he'd probably tell you, going off of yesterday's practice, he needs to be better with his hand. His hand placement, hand consistency, and how strong they are. But I think his game has so much room to grow. And it's from a fundamental standpoint of understanding, because it is a new defense. How we're fitting things, where the ball is going to be based on how the blocks we're going to see, and that's my job as a coach to make sure I can shorten their learning curve. Based on backfield sets, this is what you should be expecting. Sometimes D&D wise with this call, this is what you could be expecting. And he's a smart guy. He's been around ball. He understands that. But now adding the technique to his wits, it definitely help his game go leaps and bounds.
Lincoln General start. You touched on it a little bit, but back to Rob. How have you seen him evolve since you first worked with him to what you're seeing now?
I would say he's always been confident, and that's definitely hasn't wavered. But his ability to take from other coaches and then take that 2 cents, listen to it, and I think he knows the grand scheme of the system he's running, but also see if that fits right here or right there, because that's how that package continues to grow. And in my short period of time of coming back from some other places and just saying, this is what we've done here and done there, and but it can help in this regard. Him being open and listening to that, but yet still being thorough. Let's look at the tape, watch a little bit of it, try to poke some holes in it, and then see if it's something that our guys can do. Because if it's something that our guys can't do and it's not going to help us, then we don't want to waste time with it. So that's been key.
The defensive line it struggled at times last year and attracted some criticism. Have any of the players kind of passed on to you, hey, we felt like we were responsible, or you had to kind of work on their confidence at all?
I would not say that. I think that the attitude has been great. These guys have shown up with the right intent. Now, the focus of it probably has to get a little bit better, which we know, and that first deal pads always kind of gives you that indicator of some things you need to work on a lot more. But overall, in this room, it's been a great group to work with thus far. I think everybody's in the mindset to compete and get better this spring, and know how we talked about it's built from the inside out. These two positions that we hold ownership over, they're important. Because we got to make sure that we have a focus on stopping the run, and then from there earn the right to rush the passer.
How would you describe working for Coach Rule?
It's been great. From a standpoint, I think he's a challenging head coach. He demands your best. I think that's something that if you're wired the right way as a coach, you want that. That keeps you, on a sharp edge, and for him to go, make sure your things you're doing in India is carrying over the team and things like that. Like as a head coach, that's keeping you on par. So he demands your best, and I think it's been great to work for.
Has he put on the backwards hat yet and gone down there and coached the defensive line?
Has not. Now, he's definitely chimed in from what I think he knows what he wants to see, and he definitely wants what we're doing in India to carry over. So, and that was one of the things that attracted me, to here, because if you can work for a head coach that coaches your position, that's unique. Some coaches don't like that because they feel like the coach may be hands-on too much, something like that. But I look at it the other way. He's coached it. He knows it. He knows how important it is. Because some head coaches in DCs don't want to stop the run. They may be more, stopping the pass first. But to have that alignment from the head coach to the DC down, and then he can always add his knowledge in there, is really, really big for me.
Is Coach Tollefson helping you out too?
I'm sorry.
Is Coach Tollefson helping you out too?
Yes, been great. I mean, he's obviously was here, had been around these guys, had poured into them, throughout the whole bowl prep season, like he explained to me, and then just his knowledge of the game, having been successful at the next level where these guys aspire to be. And then couple that, we both spent time at the junior college ranks at different times at the same program under the same head coach. And just knowing how important it is from that level to really, really dive into the fundamentals, because everything is key about development, bringing guys up. But he's been great to be around and coach with.
Nebraska television.
Yes, sir.
Question on Rob. He's risen pretty quickly through the college ranks to now being in the Big Ten. You've been around college for a while. What intangibles do you see in coaches at the lower levels that you're like, hey, they can move up quickly to get up to the bigger levels of college football?
Yeah, I would say it starts with the confidence in yourself, and then knowing what you're doing is valuable. And then from there, how to relate it, to players and coaches alike. Because it has to be a consistent message. It has to be something that's aligned, and that's like you don't have those indecisions, so to speak. So to know that he had a system, kind of went and visited with different people at the next level to see what those guys were doing as well, and then took bits and pieces. So the confidence is the first part, and then from there, the ability to relate to players has always been key for him, because he also, has been about different levels as well with himself. So you couple that with he won a championship when he was a player. That's not easy to do. And I always joke and say, championship teams have similar characteristics. It doesn't matter the level. And that's something that guys carry with him, and I think that helps him relate to players very, very well.
Sounds like you guys are, at least correct me if I'm wrong, but sounds like you guys are going to play kind of gap and a half up front in terms of trying to stop the run. What's the challenge in teaching like a young defensive lineman that hasn't done that before, teaching that technique?
Just how fluid you have to be from a standpoint of, you talk about a must gap and a bonus gap, demanding and controlling your gap, and then from there, that's done with good footwork, good strength, good leverage, because that's hard to gain against another grown man that's been in the weight room 3 and 4 years as well. So that one-on-one battle is one with the technical part of it. And then also, that guy up front is always a fight to who can get their hands inside, who can get their foot placed where they need to be, and how quick you can get your feet up and off the ground. So just those one-on-one matchups day in, day out. And we're practicing against a very, very good offensive line. I've been here a short period of time, but we have some really, really good O-linemen. There's going to be some great battles for us in the spring as a young group. So very, very excited about that. But that's the key. Making sure they can understand how those small details are big in the picture of owning my must gap, and then from there being able to play into a bonus gap.
For guys that play in that, like play that, or do you feel like that's something you can teach guys?
Yeah, I think it's something that you can teach, but you want a basic skill set of overall athleticism. A guy that has a physical mindset. There are some other, if you got into some type of clinic talk, some guys may play in high school. Read attack as opposed to an attack react. Those are the two you usually hear, but you do want guys that usually play downhill because we like to attack the line of scrimmage.
So you guys are attack react. Is that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You learn fast.